Support Laneside. Get something cool. Yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that technical difficulty there. Hope that you can hear me with no problem. We're going to have JD back in just a second here. Thank you for hanging around. Thank you for waiting with us. We had tested this in the last little while, and it was working with no issue, so I really appreciate you staying with us. While we're out there, just waiting for him. Let's see here. Any questions about anything new that has been going on in the industry? I heard about some bowling balls being released today. Specifically, the 25th anniversary of the 3D offset designed by Mo, coming out for Hammer on 2/25/22. They have actually captured the original shape of the core, wrapped it in carbon fiber, and done it with dot technology. So this thing is going to be pretty cool. Also coming out, Pink Widow urethane. Yeah, I cannot believe that we're getting not only a new asymmetric urethane, but we're getting it wrapped in that new Widow cover stock. Hey, here he comes right now.
Hello?
Hello! Good heavens, I can hear you, sir. My apologies for that. Really sorry about the delay on that. I know you have a very busy schedule, so...
No video. Or not video, I have no audio.
You have no audio.
No audio on my end.
How about now?
Hey!
Hey! All right. So, my apologies. Man, did the computer ever blow up there?
That's all right. Now the question is, do you have just us or did you get everybody on?
No, I got everybody up. I got everybody.
Oh. Listen, that's what Coach does. He fixes everything.
That's what I hope for. All right, so let me give you the introduction that you are deserved.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may recognize my guest from his appearances in WXW as an Evolve Tag Team Champion with Anthony Henry, formerly Asher Hale of NXT. Wrestling.
Asher?
Yeah, I know. Wrestling for NXT. And most recently, as a member of the Wingmen in AEW with Pretty Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, and the Hollywood hunk, Ryan Namath. He's an internationally renowned brawler from Shelby, North Carolina, that has graced our TVs on AEW Dynamite at 8 p.m. on TBS and TSN2. He's also been on Monday nights on AEW Dark Elevation at 7 p.m. and Tuesday nights on AEW Dark, both on YouTube. He was called the perfect modern brawler by PW Torch, who compared him to Hall of Famers Stan Hansen and Dr. Death Steve Williams.
It's high praise.
He's also faced some of the hottest names in wrestling, such as Cody Rhodes, Eddie Kingston, who he had an insane match with. Give me 1 second here. Boop. I cannot believe this, that you have also wrestled Angelo Dawkins, Austin Theory,
yes.
Impact Wrestling and Canada's own Josh Anderson.
Josh Alexander.
Yes. Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends.
Yep.
And the Austrian monster himself, the former Walter, now Gunther.
Walter is his name.
Yeah.
Walter. Get out. Walter, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the blue-collar badass himself, and a man who gives Psycho Sid a run for his money in the long ball competition, Mr. JD Drake. JD, thank you for joining us tonight.
No problem. The only correction out of all that is I haven't had the opportunity to beat the piss out of Cody Rhodes yet.
Well, I believe you were in a match. Was it a 4-man match with him?
No, it was Dustin.
Oh,
I was in an 8-man tag with Dustin involved.
my apologies. When I was looking it up, I went to cagematch.net to try to find your complete match history, and they had Cody instead. So boo on him.
It's well, either way, I still got the team that Dustin was on. So it's okay.
That's okay. So, how has your 2022 been so far?
It has been really good, honestly. There's been some really good things happening. There's some really good things on the horizon. The main thing is I've been healthy, so I can't argue.
Yeah, speaking of health, I know that you have gone through a personal transformation over the last few months. You've lost a ton of weight. You've been in the gym there. You've even gotten me back into the gym. You look great, dude.
Thank you very much. It's been a yo-yo up and down. I lost a ton of weight because I got sick and I couldn't eat for about a week and a half or so. Well, a week really, and lost a lot of weight. But the main thing was I didn't put it right back on immediately. And then when it did start coming back on, it came back on in different places, and I look a lot smaller than I was. I'm back up to 278. The lowest I got was 269, but this is a different 278 than I was a month or two ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whoop. So, what is it like, before we get into the bowling stuff, tell us what it's like to be a professional. Oh, I don't know why we froze there. Tell us what it's like to be a professional wrestler. Like, a lot of people know that I dabbled in it a few years ago. But what is it like to be a successful professional wrestler? What's it like to be, on a major television show? You're on major TV.
It hurts. It hurts so bad. So bad. No, it's been a dream of mine since I was 3-4 years old. I can remember watching wrestling in my grandmother's living room and jumping off of her coffee tables and doing all kinds of crazy things to stuffed animals that I had in the living room. And told her one day, I'm either going to play professional baseball or I'm going to be a professional wrestler. And my grandfather said, you're going to do neither. You're going to get a job because your knees won't handle it. I mean, he may have been right, but here I am. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
No, because let's be honest, some of these matches, like the one I talked about with Eddie Kingston, that was a barn burner. Like, how many times have you seen somebody's chest, like both competitors' chests, lit up like that?
Well, like Eddie, special human. I'm sure he doesn't feel pain, and he has a fantastic time giving it. So that was also like one of the first true tests that I had after the pandemic like opened up to the point to where I could actually do some wrestling. When I came back for that match, I think I was 308 pounds, and I could tell that I was not in my tip-top shape, but I still went out there and done what I do. Now, I would like to step back in the ring with Eddie Kingston once he's healed up and healthy, and I would really, really love to run that one back.
Now, at 308 pounds, you were doing moves, you were doing cruiserweight moves. Like, you are a spry guy.
Yeah, if you guys only knew. Always been this big. I started training, I was 220 pounds, and I had to keep up with cruiserweights because that's all we had training with us. So I learned how to do all of the stuff that they did so that they had people they could practice with. And I was also a huge fan of the WCW luchadors, the cruiserweights there. And it was just a style that I grew up watching, even though my main influences were Arn and the Great Muta. I still done some things that I shouldn't have done.
Well, growing up with Arn as one of your idols, I don't think you can go wrong. I mean, Arn Anderson is the man. Like,
yeah, he is. Absolutely, he is.
And I know from talking to you, he is a very humble gentleman as well. He is not somebody that you can't approach. He's a very kind, very giving mentor as well as a professional wrestler.
100%. He wants to help everybody. Like, There's no dumb question when it comes to talking to Arn. If you have one, go ask, but be ready for an answer because he's going to give you one, whether you like it or not.
You got to have a little bit of thick skin because this is it is a profession that you're out in front of people and you are judged by what they see.
Yes, 100%. Boy, don't I know it.
So what was it like when you first got the call when you knew you were going to AEW?
Well, it was exciting to say the least. Me and the fiance were out at Myrtle Beach. We were there for Valentine's Day. I was actually playing a softball tournament during Valentine's Day weekend because she's the best and she doesn't mind when I do what I want to do sometimes. And I was laying in bed and literally was talking to her about hanging them up. Like, has my time come and gone? This was right after a bad experience elsewhere. And like, I literally asked her, why don't I just hang them up and just play ball the rest of my life and go find an actual job? And she said, well, now what good would that be? You've always told your kids to chase their dreams. Now, if you stop chasing yours, what kind of example is that going to set? I said, well, you're right. I rolled over and checked my telephone and I had a text message that said you need to check your email. And it was the invitation to Dark the following week. And then I showed up and I've done what I do. I've impressed people enough to where they've been bringing me back every week since the week after Valentine's Day.
Well, for me, it has been really gratifying watching you because when we first met, it wasn't about wrestling. Neither of us knew that we were big wrestling fans. We were just talking bowling.
Yeah, for sure.
And then to see you out there competing, living your dream, doing things that make my knee hurt just watching.
I too. Mine hurt doing it, so it's okay. Makes me feel better.
So
somebody else knows what I'm going through.
So tell me what it was like for your first, that first time in front of national TV, going out there on Dynamite. What was that like?
Oh man, that was unreal. Like me and Darby Allin had known each other 3 or 4 years, and literally walks up to me in the back and says, "Hey, I'm wrestling you." I said,
"Wow,
okay, let's make it happen then. I'm not scared in the least. I've been looking forward to doing it for 3 or 4 years now. Let's make it happen." Well, little did I know that it would be a lot sooner rather than later, and it was in front of a live audience and like millions all over the world watching, people from my hometown watching. The league that I bowled in Gastonia stopped on Wednesday
That's
night.
amazing.
They turned it on every television in the center. They turned it on every computer in the center, and for 12 minutes, the league stopped. And
that is the kind of thing that most people will never have the chance to walk out in front of a crowd. To stop a bowling center dead, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely did. And when I came back to league the following week, they were like, "Do you realize what kind of impact that you had on this place?" And I received messages for a solid month, people talking about the match I had with Darby. And it was unreal. It wasn't even at full capacity, but the adrenaline was off the charts. It was insane.
That is one of the things that AEW has done so well through the pandemic. Not only did they make sure that the wrestling sounded like wrestling, they had the wrestlers down there, they had the audio right. They've taken care of all of everybody, making sure that they're not getting sick. It has made the product feel so much different. You feel closer to it.
Yeah, it has been an experience for sure. They care about wrestling. They do. They care about wrestling. They care about the fans. They care about the wrestlers. I can speak from my experience. I have never been treated better than I've been treated since being at AEW. 100%. That goes from the locker room to the staff, to the trainers, to Tony himself. Everybody has treated me great.
And that is something that as somebody who's been in the back, that is something that really, it really makes me happy because there are some locker rooms that can be very toxic. Just like, any clique, any bowling center, there could be toxic people in it. There can be non-toxic people in it. But to hear that everyone is so giving and so accepting, it shows they care about the craft, and it shows because the fans care about them.
For sure. And again, I'm speaking totally just from my experience. I don't want to speak on anybody else's, but for me personally, it's been fantastic.
Oh, we got a shout out from Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, goodness.
From North Carolina, Super Blitz 87.
Okay. Who?
Somebody named Super Blitz 87.
Super Blitz 87. I don't know. They're from Durham. They probably don't know.
He's come to. He's been on a couple of our shows. And he's put out some great questions. So.
Well, then I'm kind of excited. Unless he's a Duke fan, then I'm no longer excited.
So, one last wrestling question.
Sure.
Where do you see yourself in the next year and the next 5 years? Where would you love to see yourself?
I would love to see myself sitting at the top of AEW. I mean, if we're going to be quite honest, I would love to see myself at the top of the game. But, I mean, I know that there's an absolute ton of work to be done if that's going to be the case. But in 1 year, even in 5 years, I just want to leave wrestling better than I found it, period. If I don't do anything else but leave it better than I found it, I've done my job.
That is amazing. And that Owen Hart Cup is coming up. You never know.
It is
now that was a great segue because a lot of people don't realize that away from the squared circle, you lace up a different kind of footwear. You trade in your boots for bowling shoes, and you are a regular, not just a regular league bowler, you're actually a pretty good bowler.
I try to be. I shot pretty well last night. Shot 714 last night.
Ooh. Now, tell me a little bit about your bowling experience, because we don't get to see this side of a lot of professionals, in other sports. So tell me about your wrestling experience. Your bowling experience.
My bowling experience. Okay, I started when I was 9. I think it was 9. I may have been even younger. But I went one time with my cousins to our local bowling alley in Shelby, North Carolina, and I fell in love with it. I was like, I get to throw this big giant ball down the lane and knock down a bunch of wooden pins and not get in trouble. Let's do it as much as possible. So I loved playing baseball, but during the off season of baseball, I needed something to keep me occupied. And my mom always wanted me to stay busy because if I didn't stay busy, I'd be in trouble. So she signed me up for league, and I started bowling league at like 8 or 9 years old. And I absolutely fell in love with it, and I became a nerd about it. The longer that I was in it, the more I wanted to know why things worked the way they did. The more I wanted to know why this ball done this and why this ball done that, why the one that I'm throwing doesn't move, but this one does. And like throughout my junior career, I think the highest I ever averaged was 180, but it was going from a 75 average when I was 9 to by the time I was done at 17, I was averaging 180 and my high set was 660, 670. My high game was 255. And when I started bowling for actual money in adult leagues, it became a completely different animal. It was like, oh, I can get rewarded for this? It's on. Little did I know that I was jumping into the Shark Tank about to get my hind ends just absolutely beat to death. But now it's like all of my nerdiness has paid off a little bit because now I'm a little more knowledgeable as to what balls do what on certain lane conditions and things like that. So my average as it sits on Monday nights is 211. That's the highest it's been in the last 5 years or so. And I've had shots at 300 no less than 4 or 5 times this season already. So I've become too technical though, and like analysis or paralysis by analysis. We've talked about that a lot. So I get in my own head. I'm a better coach than I am a bowler though. Does that sound familiar?
Yep. So JD and I, we met online because you were a fan of the show and you had some questions. And we started talking back and forth, and I started working with you because you have a little bit of an unusual style.
Yep.
You don't see it as much now as you did yesteryear. You are more of a plant bowler rather than a slide bowler.
I am.
So most coaches, the first thing they tell you is, well, you can't do that. But no.
Exactly.
That's your style. So we really wanted to make sure that... that we found you a coach, which happened to end up being me. We found a coach that could work with your style and help maximize what you do. Now, over the last little while, we've tried a few different things, haven't we?
Yes. Gosh, yes. More than I care to talk about. But yeah, we've tried a lot. Like I've tried different pitches, different grips, different fits. I've even tried going back to bowling shoes. I tried turning a pair of street shoes into bowling shoes. That didn't work. I've tried 4-step, 5-step, 7-step approaches. And what it all boiled down to was you never told me any of them were wrong. You said, we won't know if they work unless you try them. And we tried them, and you said as long as your timing is good and you're good at the line, the ball doesn't know if you slid or not. All it knows is what you impart at the line. And
that's right.
The reason I started planting in the first place is because I was at a tournament in Chicago, and I went to slide, and the approaches were just extremely inconsistent. Like I would slide, then I would like slide, stick, slide again, or I would go to slide, stick all together, and then the next shot I'm expecting the stick, and my feet slide out from under me. My knees was killing me, and I was like, you know what? I shot 170 my first game. I was like, I'm already out of everything. Can't hurt. So I put my street shoes on. And for the next 3, I went 630. And didn't lose any speed, didn't lose any rev rate, didn't lose any accuracy. I just had to slow down. But then I started trying to fine-tune everything over the next year. For the first little while, I was good. Like my average stayed the same, rev rate stayed the same, speed stayed the same. I was like, man, I'm in good shape. Then I started like finding out my timing was a little off, and I would try to fix my timing by slowing down. And when I slowed down, I started trying to get too perfect and too pretty. And my ball speed dropped from 16.5 miles an hour on the monitor to 14.5 miles an hour. And the first thing I said was, what do I do?
Yep.
What do I do?
Now,
it's so bad. And my average dropped from 210 to 200. My spare shooting became crap, but I never stopped grinding. I never stopped practicing. I just started asking more questions.
Yep. Now you might be almost as technical nerd as I am, because
yes.
I mean we've had conversations at like 1 a.m. Hey, check out this shot. Okay, cool. Yeah. you know,
1 a.m. when we're supposed to be asleep. Hey, I just got in from
supposed
practice.
to be.
I want you to look at.
Yep. And that's, you know what, that's the way it is. I work with people all over the place in different time zones. When someone's available, they're available. Yeah. And I'm usually up late anyway. Who's kidding who? I don't sleep.
That's the truth. I know.
So, oh no, go ahead.
No, I know from personal experience you don't sleep, because there have been times where at 2 a.m. you're like, hey, just finished one of your matches, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I wake up 2 a.m. Why is Rob messaging me at 2 a.m?
So, speaking of matches in wrestling, or matches in bowling, let's put this together. Are there any other wrestlers who are as good as you that you know of?
That I know of? Okay. I know that Captain Sean Dean bowled league for a while. And I think he bowls some of the tournaments local to his area. Butcher is a pretty good. Lance Archer bowled in college. I don't know.
Really?
He didn't bowl like on the collegiate team, but they had a bowling club in college, and he bowled like as an elective.
That's awesome.
Hey, John Silver bowls. I don't know how good he is. I know that when we've done the charity fundraiser for AEW at Full Gear, that he was complaining about the house balls, and I was like, listen, don't hate on me, because me and Sean Dean were the only two that were smart enough to bring our equipment.
I was going to say, that's how you know how good he is.
Yes.
He's a league. He's a leaguer.
He is. He said, these house balls are trash. I said, you knew this already. Jay Freddy is a really good bowler, and I know he shot 300 at least 2 or 3 times. And me and him talk on a regular basis. Jay
Nice.
Freddy is a local guy from the Northeast. I just wrestled him this past weekend. Very good wrestler. There's some local guys around me that bowl, like Josh Powers bowls. He's really good. Me and him have we've worked on his game, and I've got him up to about a 175, 180 average when he gets on the lanes.
Nice.
So,
well, that was one of the things I was going to ask is, you talked about being a coach. Do you help anybody when you're out there?
Well, I help everybody, man. Anybody that asks, I help. That's me. Always has been, always will be. That goes back to me coaching the youth in the local league here when my kids were there. Nobody else would coach. So I was like, I jumped up helping my kids, and all the other ones came over and said, do you mind helping me? I was like, well, of course not. So I started coaching the local youth league here. And we had 5 bowlers finish in the top 3 in their division.
Nice.
We've got one.
I was going to say, we've got one of our listeners on here, Clatutu. I like that. Clatutu says that you work with him or her. This person.
I need to know who that is, because that's.
That's the wonders of Twitch, is you never know, because they could have their names are all over the place. So have actually, we talk a lot of coaching for you. We've talked a lot about your game, about working with planting, a lot about your equipment choices. Right. What is your arsenal right now?
So it's been going through.
Clatutu said David.
David, is that David Merritt? What a goofy. I bowl with him on Wednesdays.
Okay.
I bowl with him on Wednesdays. And you ask about arsenal. Depends on the day. And I know I say that a lot, but for this season, it literally depends on the day. We just switched over to Paradise Lanes here in Spartanburg, South Carolina, because our other center shut down. And the equipment I had for Star Lanes didn't necessarily work as well over here at Paradise. So I am now throwing a Hustle PBR, a Hustle Camo, and I have a purple hammer. Of course, if you don't have a purple hammer, missing out. And I have a UC3. Those are my 4 choice right now.
You know, Wednesday, that's not a bad arsenal.
It's not. The Hustle PBR is a very strong ball for the price. For $100, you're not going to find one better. The Hustle Camo, same thing. It is the most angular $100 ball on the planet. And I've proved it last night, because that thing came back from everywhere. On Wednesday nights, I sub on a team, and this is the team that Clatutu or David, whatever his name is. This is where I work with him, and we're called the Purple Nurples. I don't think I say anything else. People in that league are extremely upset at us because everybody on the team throws a purple hammer.
Well, you know, you can fix that. If they don't want you to throw the purple hammer, you can get the new Pink Widow that's coming out and throw that instead.
Well, David has the purple Black Widow.
Well, there you go. That's perfect. Then you can have the pink, black. You can have all of them.
Oh, I'm getting one. Trust me, I'm getting one. And the girlfriend actually said, "Oh, there's a urethane ball for me to throw. You throw it 17 miles an hour with a 250 rev rate. You don't need urethane, girl. Get out of here." No.
Just put 320 surface on it. It'll hook.
Oh yeah, I'll put 180 on it. I have a UC3 in the bag for when they start complaining about me throwing urethane. I'll grab that urethane. That one hooks off the planet.
Yep.
It's unreal. But like I honestly feel like planting has allowed me to be more cognizant of my release. I don't know if that makes any kind of sense at all, but it allows me to be able to not have to worry about how far I'm sliding or anything like that. But when I get to the line, I'm able to focus more on how much I get into it, how much I don't. And it took me a long time to get there. And like we talked about, a week ago, it just clicked the other night. And it was
Literally last night we were talking about it.
Yeah, like I threw a spare shot. My arm swing was really free, and the fiance said, "Why doesn't your strike shot look like that? You look like you're bound up and fighting the ball when you're throwing your strike shot." So I said, "Okay, cool." So I let it free swing one time. I got to the bottom and hit it, and was like, "Oh, that's what the bowling ball's supposed to do." Okay,
Yep,
fair. And my ball speed came back. My rev rate came back. I was like, "Oh, duh, been beating my head up against a wall." But my current arsenal is plenty strong enough to where I can get it to come back from anywhere on the lane. Plus, it's plenty versatile enough to where I can do anything I want with it. I can play straight down and in. I can move left. I can do whatever. But I was never able to make those adjustments when I was sliding.
Well, if you're not confident in where your feet are going to finish, you can't be confident in you can't relax and let your ball come through. And we've talked about how much with you planting that your arm swing has to be so fluid and so really swingy.
Yep. And look, I'm going to get really close to the camera when I say this so you people will understand. My knees stopped hurting when I started planting. Done. Bowl with a guy on Wednesday, Brian Hahn, who has planted for God knows how long. And he went to his chiropractor and said, "I hurt so bad." He was still sliding then. He said, "I hurt so bad every time I bowl." And the chiropractor said, "Well, you might want to try bowling in tennis shoes, because when you're sliding, he's 6'4", he's lanky. He might be even taller than 6'4", but he's lanky, and he put his body in some wild positions. He started planting and no pain whatsoever. He put bowling shoes on one time to see, and he couldn't walk for a week. So that's when I can't get to you, that's who I go to, because he's done it forever. And he is a technical nerd like we are. So.
And that's it. Your coach should coach to you, not to what they want to do.
100%. 100%.
Yep, because you know what? Me telling you to slide is not going to make you slide. But me helping you be a better bowler planting made you better.
It sure did. And not only did it make it didn't just make me better, it's made it to where I'm going to be able to bowl for a long time. We even had the discussion about how older people should take their bowling shoes off. Like, please put on street shoes and learn to plant if you're older, because you don't have the balance that you used to have. And if you slide and get off just a little bit, or you stick when you expect to slide, you don't heal up as well as you used to. And if you fall, you can break something. You can break something really bad.
Yeah, we had a gentleman in my local center who stuck and ended up tearing his quad, I think.
Man, it's so bad. It's so bad. If you're in your 70s and you're not super athletic or anything, just plant and throw the bowling ball down the lane. You'll hit the same pins that you would if you were sliding, and you put yourself at less risk. My opinion.
So you talked about passing on that information to other teammates, and you pass it on to youth as well. Tell me what made you want to give back?
Because
I know. I mean, I was going to say, I know you do it as a wrestler. You are always working with other guys to help them get better too. You are probably the best guy who's not in a school running a school as a trainer right now. Like, you are just a workhorse.
Well, I actually help run training at High Spots Wrestling School in Charlotte. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have. I've been helping run training for the better part of a year and a half now. And when I was working at High Spots for the last 4 years, when somebody would need a day off, I would fill in and I would train there. But like, what made me want to give back is the fact that my first coach ever, Rayford Brown, he's 80 years old. And anytime he sees me, if he sees something wrong with my game, he stops what he's doing. He walks up and he says, "Come here, kid. We need to talk."
And that's awesome.
He has never once told me that he's too busy. Never once told me he's too busy to help. So if I've got that selfless of a coach, you yourself, you take your time. Like, you're busy. You wear so many different hats. But you take the time. Once I send you something, it might not be right now, but I promise you I'm going to look. And you'll take the time to watch. You'll send me something. Hey, try this. Give this a look. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll go back to the drawing board. But this is what I see. And all of the kids, just the instant gratification of switching something so just minuscule in their game and it start working. And you see a kid shoot their first 200, or they shoot their first turkey, or their first double, hell, even their first strike. It's just the joy on their face is like, I want to do this the rest of my life. Watching my son bowl his first 200 with my bowling ball, because he left his stuff at home. His hand miraculously fit in mine, plus about 7 pieces of tape. And he was just, that night, he was all over it. And he was like, Dad, what do I need to do? Those shots are not coming up. They're not hitting like perfect. They're light. They're swishers. I'm like, you don't change anything. You just keep throwing the bowling ball until it stops giving it to you.
That's right.
He shot 200. Now his second game was 130, but his first game was 208. And he still talks about that today. That was 4 years ago.
And that's the impression, that's the good impression that bowling can have on anyone. It can give them stories for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. My fiance, I started coaching her. She's always been into bowling. She started with a one-step approach, suitcasing a house ball. She's left-handed. So she cheated already.
Yeah, she's already cheating.
Oh, yeah, already cheating. First thing I told her was the best advice I can give you is switch sides. But I remember her wanting to get started bowling, and I got her a used Ebonite Tornado off of somebody, 14 pounds, and she learned how to hook it. And right before we went to our first city tournament, she had gotten a Daredevil. And
nice.
She fell in love with the Daredevil. And she was working extremely hard. Her average was 138. And then one night at league, it all just clicked. And she shot 215. And I was like,
wow.
Uh-oh, this is not going to be good for somebody. She wound up shooting 560 or 570 that night. City tournament was that weekend. She went in on 138.
Oh, wow.
I put her in every bracket. Every bracket. She shot 570, 590, 580. She shot 218 the first set. She shot 225 the second set. And then she shot 225 the first game of team. And people were coming in with bags of sand and sitting them behind the lanes. I was like, yeah, well, she shot her first 200 Monday. I don't know what to tell you. She just waxed everybody's hind end, and I'm taking the money home because I put her in all the brackets.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Matster from Gastonia just chimed in with a hello for you, sir.
Matster. That's probably Matt Wilburn. Hey, bud. I could be wrong. That's only one of the only Matts I know.
So, before we get to question and answer, I gotta ask.
Sure.
With you being on the road,
yep.
Do you ever take the rooks to the bowling center and bowl them a buck a pin just to break them in?
No, I should. I absolutely should. I should take my equipment all the time, and I should film it. That's a pretty good idea. It's a pretty good idea. Anytime I'm on the road, I should start taking my equipment, taking these youngins in there, bowling them for a buck a pin, beating the tar out of them, and having them buy my dinner that night. But no, I haven't. There was an open bet for the Full Gear fundraiser, but Butcher couldn't make it. He couldn't make it. 3-game set, I believe we was going to go $100 on the set.
Oh wow! Well, you know what? He is a good Buffalo boy, so you know he might be a good bowler.
Oh, I'm sure he is, because he's not one to blow any kind of smoke up anybody's rear end. If he says he's good at something, he's good at something.
Okay,
guys, he's mean. Hell no, he's mean as hell. I ain't fighting.
So let's get to question and answers here. If anybody out in the chat has any questions, please throw them up there, and we'll get them up as soon as we can. I want to ask JD here, what did you think of the PBA shows this weekend?
I enjoyed them. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I am a humongous Norm Duke fan. I don't know if I can describe how big of a Norm Duke fan I am. To see him bowl against Tommy Jones, and Tommy shot 268. If you get beat with somebody shooting 268 and you shoot he shot 242. Yep. Norm's 57 years old. 57 years old. And he's still beating the piss out of these young boys.
Yep.
Norm is the man.
He absolutely is.
I enjoyed watching the Rooks last night. I watched, what was his name? The young kid that almost beat Belmonte in the first game.
Oh, Maverick?
No, it wasn't Bailey Maverick.
Oh, no, he was from the other show, yeah.
Yeah. Bailey Maverick was from the Sean Rice show. Golly. He bowled him right before he bowled Wesley Lowe.
Yeah, I'm loading up the PBA website right now. Come on, Internet.
Elmo was so scared, but that kid's going to be tough. He had a 500 rev rate. Long, lanky, and 40 pounds. Unreal. That kid's going to be really, really good in a couple of years.
Cortez Schenk.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, Cortez Schenk. Yeah, that kid was tough. Keep an eye on him.
He can hit the crap out of the cover on that thing.
Yeah, he can. I'm sure he had pieces of cover stock left on his fingers. My favorite match of all of the shows was Brad Miller versus Kyle Sherman. Just because
I felt bad when Brad missed the spare. I was like, oh no, please no, please no. And then Kyle missed it right back and was like, there you go, I want to keep it even. And they both seemed to relax and just start throwing the ball better. Right.
I was expecting a little more trash talk, even though I know they have to be pro. Yeah, I have to be professionals on TV. This is a different animal, okay? You guys can talk crap back and forth to each other. It's okay. It is okay. Because we know it's all in jest. You're not getting on there trying to be just an absolute asshole to each other. You're actually, it's friendly competition, and we know what's up. But that's pretty cool. I enjoy watching their vlog. I enjoy watching Darren Tang's vlog. Darren Tang is hilarious.
He is.
He's
his
just
socials, fun. His socials on Twitch.
Yeah, nuts.
So, what they need is somebody to come out there and teach them how to cut a good promo on each other.
Oh gosh, here we go. I'm down. I am game. I can come in and coach promos. That's no problem.
Yeah, you get Brad there, and he's like, Kyle, I've been chasing you for years, but you've been running.
We're not doing normal pro wrestling promos. Absolutely not. It's just going to be straight shit talk from the word go. Period.
Nice.
I'm sorry if this is a family show. I apologize. I used my one right there.
That's okay. Speaking of talk on the shows, there was an incident that set the world on fire. Yes. I want to get your take on it.
Okay. I feel like he didn't say anything terribly wrong. Okay. I mean, I understand. You said shit on national television. Shit is said on national television a lot. You're in a professional setting. You're supposed to carry yourself as a professional. I am okay with showing emotion in any sport. Golf, bowling, tiddlywinks. I don't care. If there's a competitive fire there, I'm okay with showing emotion. I was a fan of PDW. I liked Pete Weber. I did. His game was unreal. His competitive fire was nuts. Brad Angelo was a trash talking human being, and he would let you know about it in a heartbeat. But there's a time and a place. There is a time and a place. If he waits until Russo throws his last shot, I have no issues with anything that was said. Because I think it's ironic and funny, because he was just on staff with Brunswick not too long ago, was he not?
He was indeed.
I've got no issues with it. If you're upset at them and you want to, fine, please air your grievances. But wait until it's over. You got upset when Belmo was crinkling a water bottle in your ear. This is the exact same thing. The exact same thing.
Yeah. You know, I concur. I think the thing that took it from being questionable to being just an outburst, I think is all timing.
Right. For sure. For sure. If you wait until it's over and you say, hey, congratulations, kid, good job. Turn around, just call out the PBA if you want to. Hey, 3 for 3, integrity one day. I'm perfectly fine with that. Perfectly fine with it. Because, I mean, there's, from the outside looking in, if you see that they went from a Kegel oil machine and Kegel oil to a Brunswick oil machine and Brunswick oil, and 3 Brunswick staffers just ran the gamut, and we know that he hates urethane. A lot of people hate urethane. A lot of them. And the Purple Hammer beat the eyeballs out of everybody.
And he doesn't like two-handers either. Two-handers,
well,
left-handers, any of those. So, you know what, I think...
If we're being honest, two-handers, are there any really true, like, two-handers in the world? Anybody that releases the ball with 2 hands?
Nope.
No? So let's get mad at Buttroff because he folds the ball up under his arm and he's got 47 joints in his left wrist. Let's get mad at him because he's got a 5 rev rate with a conventional grip. I don't care how you throw the ball. You still got to repeat it. Kick that thing down 12 times in a row. I don't care.
Yep, it's a matter of timing, because fierceness, competitiveness, those are wonderful things. Those bring TV, but when it happened when it did, that becomes an issue.
Yes.
Now,
that's it. Yes, I'm okay with what you said. No, I'm not okay with when you said it.
Now, what did you think of the PBA's response?
I believe that the response was needed. I do. I feel like the fines being levied is right. It's okay. I mean, it's conduct unbecoming of a professional. Truth. 100%. Has to be some sort of punishment. Banning him from or suspending him from a event in February. Okay. But was it going to be an event that he was going to compete in the first place? The undisclosed amount of money, I don't need to know how much you fined it. I don't think
anybody does.
The fact that you said, hey, even if it's $1, you have to sit down, write out a check for $1 for what you did. You had to take the time to sit down to write out this check and know that you're giving away something that you worked hard to earn because of your actions. I'm okay with it. The 1-year probation, I would like to see if they follow through with it, because this is not the first time it's happened.
Well, we will see over the next 12 months, I guess.
We will, I guess. I mean, kudos to them for at least stepping up.
It showed that they care. It showed that the PBA really cares.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. They do care. They do care. And if you're trying to grow the sport and you're trying to do everything that you can to, bring a new demographic in, I mean, they see that and they're probably like, wow, things are starting to get like exciting and things like that. But if it probably turned just as many away.
Yeah, it does come off a little bit bad sportish, which could turn people away. And you know what? Knowing I've met Sean in the past, I know how important family is to him, and with his little girl being sick, being overcome with emotion, you know, give him a little bit of leeway, but the PBA stepped up and said, even though we have to do this. And I think that's okay.
And here's something else, and I've seen this so much in the research that I've done as far as like seeing what everybody's been saying about it. The emotions at the end. If none of that happens with Russo, the emotions at the end get taken seriously because it was a serious moment. It was a very serious moment. But now everybody's like, you acted an ass just 30 seconds ago. And now you say, happy birthday, Dad, and you get emotional on television people are saying it was him just trying to make up for being an ass 30 seconds prior, which you and I both know not the case. Not the case. Anybody that has children and has issues at home, you know how strong emotions are, and you know
100%.
how quickly it is that tears can start going down your face for no reason.
Oh yeah.
I hope he gets something out of it. No matter how bad it is, I hope he gets something out of it.
Me too. Because that's what life is about, learning from your experiences.
Learn from mistakes. I've learned from mistakes because I bowl. Therefore, I've made plenty of mistakes and had to learn from them.
That's right. All right. So it looks like nobody in the chat here is asking us much. So do you have anything that you wanted to talk about? Anything that you would like to ask a question about? Or are you good, my friend?
I am as good as I can be. Make sure that you tune in every Wednesday night, TBS, 8 p.m., AEW Dynamite, Rampage every Friday night, 10 p.m., TNT. Dark and Dark Elevation. Dark Elevation's on Monday nights at 7. Dark at 7. YouTube. Get there. Watch. Pay attention. See this face? I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't care what any of you say.
It's free wrestling. Some of the top stars in the world coming in.
You got to see Bryan Danielson for free on YouTube. What? Are you kidding? You get to see some of the best that ever lace the boots up for free on YouTube.
Yep.
And if you're in the Orlando area when they do the dark tapings, go.
Yes.
You never know what
because that's at the studios there, Universal Studios.
Yes. Yep. It's at Universal Studios. I don't care if the ticket is $10. Go. But I don't think it's any. Go. Support wrestling. Without the fans, we have nothing. We have no wrestling. We have no livelihood, no anything. And we enjoy entertaining you as much as you enjoy watching. I promise.
Ooh, we got a question here before we run off here. This is actually a really good one.
Oh, gosh.
Is there a difference or similarity between the amount of work you put into professional wrestling and bowling?
I'm not going to say I put more work in for one than the other. It's just different. Bowling is very cerebral, and while the physical game is important, the mental game is just as important because you're always battling an invisible opponent. Professional wrestling, I don't know if you know this or not, it's a very physical sport. It hurts. Falling down is not natural. I don't want to do it. I don't. I've been wrestling 20 years, and I believe that I have hurt myself more training and getting ready than I have wrestling, actually. And not to mention the days going to the gym, the days going to jiu-jitsu practice and learning mat work there, the days going to Tang Sudo practice and learning how to strike, or time on the roads that I've spent running. I know that I don't look like I run much, but when I was younger, I ran a good bit.
So you know what? That brings up something really good. People don't understand the difference between ring cardio and regular cardio, because regular cardio is nothing compared to being able to go in the ring.
Perfect example. When I was in jiu-jitsu class, a marathon runner shows up and says he wants to start training. So about 3 weeks in, coach says, all right, we're doing rounds. And when coach said you're doing rounds, he picked the amount of minutes. Most of the time it was however many people was there. That day, there happened to be 10 people there. So you went 10 minutes with everybody.
Oh.
He's 10 minutes, 10 different people. By the 4th round, this fellow was in the bathroom puke. He packed his bag and he left. Came back the next day and said, I can run 26 miles. I do not ever want to do that again. Ever. I was so dead tired when I got home. He said that he had to pull over and just lay back in his car and turn the air conditioner on for 30 minutes on his way home because he just couldn't drive.
Yep.
It's really different. I can go 20, 30 minutes in a professional wrestling ring. If you ask me to get out on the street and run, no. I get on the treadmill and walk. But
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that. Run? No. But you put me in a ring, I can go for 20 or 30.
Now, from the bowling side of stuff, I know you do a ton of practicing.
I do a lot of physical game stuff, but I also do a lot of video study. So if I go and I practice 30, 45 minutes that day, I'll study that 30 or 45 minutes for 3 days. And I'm always looking for what worked and what didn't. Always. I'm always playing with surfaces to see what works and what doesn't. I'm always playing with different layouts and different ideas. I'm trying to find. Now, listen, just because I bowl in street shoes doesn't mean that I don't have to find the correct shoes to wear. There's running shoes, which propel you forward, which when you strike the ground in running shoes, you strike the ground heel toe, and the heel actually propels you. Mm-hmm. So when you're playing and you get to the line, if you plant heel toe, this gets you up on your toe more so that it allows the knee to continue, which is what you want. But if it continues too much, now it throws you off balance. If you bowl in flats, Converse, Vans, I've even bowled in Crocs. I've bowled in barefoot shoes. I bowled in flip-flops. But when you go heel toe there, you have to propel yourself. So now you control how much the knee goes forward. So if you can find the happy medium between the two, Jason Eubanks is another one. HIH Bowling, hit it harder on YouTube. He's bowled for the last, 20 years in street shoes.
And that dude hits it.
He absolutely hits it. Six-step approach. If he's not hitting close to 600 revs, I'm not sitting here. He rips the cover off of it. And he was the one that told me about him going to running shoes because it helped him keep the knee going forward so that when he got to the line, it took all the stress off the knee.
That knee continuation where it goes, kind of comes together. Yep.
What happens when you slide? When you come to an easy, smooth slide, a smooth stop, the knee continues going and it allows the body's momentum to keep going. You can bowl without sliding. It just needs a change in timing. That is it. And you can't get to the line and try to slide, because if you try to slide, that's where the knee pain comes in, because now you're coming to an abrupt stop. If not sliding was going to make you blow your knee out, nobody in the NBA would have knees.
That's right, because they stop faster than anybody.
Truth. Brian Holm bowls in basketball shoes because they're pretty much flat. They have great ankle support and they have good arch support. And he said that's all he needs. I'm still toying with it. I don't know what I like bowling in more, flats or running shoes.
We're going to find it. We're just going to keep working.
Well, we are. Or I'm going to have a bowling company do what Michael Haugen does and send me a pair of shoes where he puts the traction sole on the left foot and just plant.
That might not be a bad idea. You can get a pair of the like the Team Brunswicks and just get planters on either side, or any of the companies, really.
I'm a frugal punk though, man. Those are $180, and I'm like, I can go to Ross and get a pair of basketball shoes for $30. What's that difference?
All right, so we're gonna see you hopefully soon on Wednesday nights on Dynamite. I need to see you on Rampage. I need to see you and Hook. To see you and Hook. Oh my God, that would be an amazing match.
It'd be fun. It would be absolutely fun. And I would get to beat up Hook, and then afterwards I'd get to beat his dad on the lanes, and if his dad walked down the aisle, I'd whoop him there too. Send Hook. Please send Hook.
Only if I can be your advocate. The bearded beast is coming down. He's going to take Taz.
I'm okay with that. Hey, you can be my advocate at the lanes. If Taz shows up, Taz says his high game is 294 from 1987. He also said that his dad bowled with Petraglia and Weaver and all of them back in the 60s and 70s, but he'd done a lot more action bowling because he made more money there than they made on tour. So apparently, Taz's family has a bowling lineage. I would love to beat him to death. He looks like a bowling ball with arms and legs.
So there is a great book. Give me 1 second here. There is a great book.
Okay.
Oh.
This is where the nerdiness comes in because he has everything. Everything. And I'm going to talk smack till he gets back.
All right. There is a great book here. It's called King of the Pins. It's by Eddie Labansky. And it actually covers a lot of that time period for action bowling.
Yeah.
I would not doubt Taz on that. That area that he grew up in, there was a lot of action in that area.
Oh, I'm sure. And it was every night, too. It wasn't just a night here or there. Like, I know here, you'll have a night or two where people get together and pop bowl. Or back when I was a junior bowler, my coach would bowl late into the night. Like, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they would shut the bowling alley down at 11. They would bowl till 5 in the morning, action bowl. And then they would all go to work and come back and do it again the next day. And there was a lot of money being thrown around.
I wish we could get that going again. I wish that there was more of that.
It'd be
but
so
you know
much
what?
fun.
They're probably...
I'd be broke.
Me too, because when it comes to bowling, I'm a great wrestler, and when it comes to wrestling, I'm a great bowler.
That's fair. That's fantastic. That's a great analogy. Same here. Out of all the wrestlers, I can bowl.
So, sir, thank you. I really want to appreciate. I want to thank you and say I appreciate you joining us here on the Drill Room. This has been a fantastic episode.
I hope everybody enjoys it just as much as I enjoy being here. And just keep supporting us. Keep supporting us. AEW is going to change the world when it comes to professional wrestling. Just watch.
Oh, I do not doubt it. You know what? This time tomorrow, we're going to be in the middle of Dynamite, and you never know what can happen night to night. There are so many free agents out there. There's so many incredible indie talent that are available right now. Yes. Literally every night is just, it's like Christmas.
For sure. For sure. There's no better time to be a wrestling fan than right now.
That's right. All right, JD, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I cannot thank you and AEW enough. We will talk to you again soon, sir.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care.
Ooh. All right. So, thank you very much. Once again, that was JD Drake, AEW superstar. I call him a superstar because he really is, on and off the lanes. He is an amazing, amazing man. Super hard worker, talking about how hard he works on the lanes, off the lanes, in the ring. He really deserves an opportunity. Guy can talk, guy can fly. I guess I'm a little biased since I coach him, but I think he's an incredible talent. And he does this move when he throws guys up on the outside, into the air, off of the ropes, and then hits them with a forearm shiver is just ridiculous. I also want to take a moment here to thank AEW for allowing us to have JD on our show today. It's not often that a company as big as them allow us to have a real superstar here on a show as small as ours. So I really want to take the opportunity to thank them. John, if you're out there, who's the gentleman I was talking with, thank you so much for this opportunity. Once again, just as JD Drake said, you can catch AEW Mondays and Tuesdays on YouTube for free at 7 p.m. You can see the greatest stars in the world performing there for free. You can also check them out Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. on TNT and in Canada on TSN2. And AEW Rampage on Friday nights at 10 o'clock on TNT. And that is Hook's show. They should just rename it AEW Send Hook, because that guy's amazing. Remember, unfortunately, Rampage isn't available in Canada yet. So you either have to pick it up on one of the streaming services or some other means, but please watch it. It's a great show. Don't forget to follow us here. LaneSideReviews.com will take you to Facebook, where you can find all of our socials. You can find us here on Twitch, on YouTube under Laneside Reviews. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok. If you have any questions, please leave them here or on our YouTube page, or you can email them to lanesidereviews@live.com. Next episode, we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about learning how to figure out your PAP, tilt, rotation, and rev rate without going to the pro shop. We're going to use some simple tools that you can use around the house, or a ProSect if you have one available to you. And we're going to allow you to get a little better idea of what your bowling statistics are, so that you can better choose equipment and make more informed choices when you're looking at your layouts. So that's about it. I want to thank you for joining me. And until next time, we'll see you laneside.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a show. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.